how I finally learned to stop overthinking constantly, and how you can too. If you've ever felt trapped inside your own head, stuck replaying the same worries over and over again, you know how draining it can be. Overthinking constantly is like carrying a backpack full of bricks everywhere you go. It slows you down, steals your joy, and makes even simple choices feel impossible. But here's the twist. Overthinking doesn't mean you're broken. In fact, it usually means you've got an incredibly powerful mind that's just stuck in the wrong gear. Most people think the way out is to analyze even harder, but that's the trap. The real breakthrough comes when you stop trying to think your way out of overthinking. Strange, right? Yet, that's the secret shift nobody talks about. So, if you've been searching for how to stop overthinking thoughts, craving overthinking solutions, or even just begging for a little overthinking help, you're in the right place. In the next few minutes, I'll share practical ways to stop overthinking anxiety, stop overthinking in relationships, and even stop overthinking at night when your brain won't quit. By the end, you'll know how to stop overthinking now, and more importantly, how to take back control of your life. Recognizing the cycle of overthinking. It all begins with awareness. Most people don't even realize how often they're overthinking constantly. They just accept it as part of their personality. But here's the thing. Noticing the pattern is the very first step to breaking it. Imagine catching yourself mid-thought and saying, "Wait a second, I've been stuck on this same worry for the last 20 minutes. That pause is powerful. It's like switching on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you see what's really happening. When someone learns how to stop overthinking thoughts, they realize the cycle often follows the same script: a trigger, a worry, endless what-ifs, and then the weight of anxiety. For example, a person might get a short text that says, "We need to talk." Instantly the mind spins stories. Did I do something wrong? Is my relationship in danger? That's not intuition speaking, that's overthinking. Recognizing these loops is the first way to stop overthinking everything before it drains your energy. Here's a simple exercise. Keep a small notebook or use your phone's notes app. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, jot down what triggered it, what you were thinking, and how it made you feel. This doesn't just give clarity, it creates distance. Over time, you'll notice patterns that reveal when and where you need overthinking help the most. The beauty is, once you see the cycle, you can finally begin shifting it, and that shift will open the door to a surprising next step. Shifting focus from problems to solutions. Once someone sees the cycle of overthinking constantly, the next step is learning to redirect all that mental energy. Overthinking thrives when the mind is glued to problems, not possibilities. Picture it like staring at a locked door for hours, instead of noticing the open window right beside it. The shift happens when a person says, "Okay, I've thought about the problem enough. What's one small action I can take right now?" That's where control begins. Think about this. Instead of replaying a mistake at work, imagine writing down 2 or 3 concrete things you can do differently tomorrow. Instead of lying awake asking, "Why can't I stop overthinking at night?" Try focusing on a calming bedtime ritual, like reading a chapter of a book you enjoy or journaling for 10 minutes. These are stop overthinking tips that ground the mind in solutions, not in endless what-ifs. It's not about ignoring the problem, it's about reclaiming direction. Overthinking solutions often sound too simple, but simplicity is exactly what cuts through the noise. For example, someone battling constant worry about money might dedicate 15 minutes each week to reviewing expenses and adjusting one small habit, like skipping one unnecessary subscription. Suddenly, the worry shifts into action. And here's the powerful part. The more often you do this, the more your brain learns to stop overthinking your life by default. But there's another dimension, one most people overlook. Managing the emotional triggers behind overthinking. Behind every spiral of overthinking constantly, there's usually an emotion driving it. Fear, doubt, insecurity, or even guilt. The tricky part is that most people don't see the emotion. They just notice the thoughts. But here's the truth. You can't stop overthinking anxiety if you only fight the thoughts and ignore the feelings underneath. For example, a person might obsess over a text left on read, but the real issue is fear of rejection or not being enough. Learning how to control overthinking starts with asking, "What am I really feeling right now?" That simple question interrupts the spiral. Suppose you're stressing about an upcoming presentation. Instead of looping through, "What if I mess up?" notice the emotion, fear of embarrassment. Naming it out loud calms the storm because emotions lose power when exposed. This isn't just theory. Therapists often use this exact method in stop overthinking therapy sessions. It's a practical way to regain perspective. Here's an example you can try today. When you feel yourself slipping into worry, write down 3 words that describe your emotion, maybe tense, nervous, restless. Then, instead of chasing thoughts, address the emotion directly. Maybe that means taking a 5-minute walk, calling a supportive friend, or practicing a breathing exercise. These stop overthinking tips don't erase problems, but they ground you in the present moment. And once you start taming emotions, an even deeper layer of freedom reveals itself. Building a stop overthinking mindset. Once someone learns to recognize cycles and manage emotions, the next step is building a mindset designed to stop overthinking in life. This isn't about flipping a switch. It's about training the brain to respond differently over time. Think of it like building a muscle at the gym. At first, it feels awkward, but with repetition, the new pattern becomes second nature. The goal is not just to find overthinking solutions in the moment, but to cultivate a stop overthinking mindset that lasts. Take decision-making as an example. Overthinkers often get stuck weighing every option until they're paralyzed. A strong mindset breaks that loop with rules of thumb, like the 2-minute rule. If a decision takes less than 2 minutes to make, don't overanalyze, just decide. Or the good enough principle. If an option meets 70% of what you want, take it and move forward. These mental shortcuts act as built-in stop overthinking tips, giving freedom from the endless back and forth. Practical habits reinforce this mindset too. Journaling for 5 minutes every morning can help clear overthinking thoughts before they hijack your day. Practicing gratitude daily shifts focus away from what might go wrong toward what's already right. Even small things like limiting your news or social media intake protect the mind from spiraling. Over time, these habits build a strong stop overthinking mindset that helps in every area, from career to relationships. And yet, there's one area where this practice becomes especially critical: applying it to relationships and daily life. Overthinking constantly doesn't just affect work or personal goals. It sneaks into relationships too. How many times have you replayed a conversation wondering if you said the wrong thing or analyzed a text word by word? That's the classic trap of overthinking in relationships. It drains the joy out of connection and replaces it with worry. Learning how to stop overthinking and worrying in this area can feel like a breath of fresh air. One powerful way to stop overthinking in relationships is to communicate directly instead of assuming. For example, instead of spiraling with, "Why didn't they call me back?" send a simple, honest message. This shift turns anxious guessing into clarity. The same applies at work. Rather than overthinking a colleague's tone in an email, just ask for clarification. Direct action is one of the most underrated overthinking solutions. It keeps your mind from inventing stories that may not even exist. And let's not forget daily life. Many people lose hours overthinking what to wear, what to eat, or whether they're making the perfect choice in small matters. Here's a stop overthinking tip. Simplify decisions with routines. For instance, choose a standard breakfast, plan outfits ahead, or set time limits for small choices. These tweaks reduce decision fatigue and free up mental space for what really matters. When you apply these strategies across relationships and everyday moments, the change is liberating. But the real transformation begins when you put everything together. So here's the truth. Breaking free from overthinking constantly isn't about shutting down your mind. It's about guiding it in a new direction. You've seen how to recognize the cycle, shift from problems to solutions, manage emotions, build a stop overthinking mindset, and finally apply it to relationships and daily life. But none of this will matter unless you actually practice it. Knowledge without action is just another form of overthinking. Ask yourself, how much longer do you want to let your thoughts run the show? What could you achieve if you stopped overthinking anxiety and started acting with clarity instead? Imagine how your relationships, career, or even your peace at night could change if you decided to stop overthinking now. The power is already in your hands. You just need to use it. So here's my challenge. Don't just nod along. Pick one strategy from today and put it into practice before the day ends. Then come back and tell me how it went. And if you want to keep learning powerful ways to stop overthinking your life and take back control, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss another chance to transform your mindset and build the life you deserve.